And good morning. This is March 25th, 2023. I'm glad you're all here. It's about 9 a.m. Central Time. It is actually snowing, which, yeah, well, that is what it is, right? So let's go over to the comments real quick. Good morning, CH, Gibby, JH, Jeremy. Good morning, everybody. If you need IT consulting, make sure you reach out at williehowe.com. Click hire us, contact us, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Morning, Gina. So, one thing we're going to take a look at here this morning, once we get some people in, is we're going to take a look at the UI for the Synology camera that I have. So, if you came in at the beginning of the live stream, you'll notice that there was a thing that says paid promotion. Morning, Harry. So Synology is not paying me. I am a reseller, and I also obviously have a relationship with their marketing folks. They did send this camera to me for testing, so I just make sure I'm putting that out there. Good morning, James Ridgway. All right, so everybody is climbing in here this morning. So real quick before we flash over to the camera itself in the UI, here is the camera if you missed the video. And somebody wanted to know if this was glass or if this was plastic. That is, I think, definitely plastic, but we'll have to see. So here in just a minute, we're going to switch over to the camera. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So now we are looking at the camera UI, and to adjust any of these stream settings, any of the image quality settings, that all goes through Surveillance Station. So there's really nothing that I can do to manipulate the image. I can change the name up here. This is some stuff from my web browser. And down here you can see the serial number, the camera model, the IP, and it says to adjust the image and stream settings, go to Surveillance Station 9.1 and add the camera. So you have to adopt it into Surveillance Station, which I'm going to do a video on that. Then here we've got network. Now I do find that they've got some pretty interesting settings in the network. Obviously every device is going to have DHCP or static. Here I like this. So they show all the devices that are connected to this camera. So you get a list of all those connections, and I can end the connection or I can block that IP address. And then over here, you can actually, they have a firewall built in. And right now I'm allowing all connections, but you can say only allow IPs in the allow list to connect. Do not allow IP addresses in the block list to connect. So, and then you can do auto block on this. So they're bringing some of that security that we're used to with the NAS and with the router, and they're bringing it over into the camera. Under system, you can see we've got username, password. It tells me the last time I changed my password was all the way back on February 20th. We have language, NTP server, and time zone, and automatically adjust for daylight savings time. Let's go back and look and see, is that working? So when we look at the camera, 9:03:28. So, oh my gosh, a device that the daylight savings time actually works properly. Then we've got the camera model, the firmware version. We can do a manual firmware update, so you don't have to do it through Surveillance Station, but that is probably going to be the easiest. You've got a reset option, you got a reboot option, but for reset, you can keep the network account or password settings, or you can factory reset the entire camera. And then you can download the camera log. So what you can do from the UI, if you're out in the field and you're installing this, well, then you can go ahead and use this, and adjust the camera to your liking, and then lock it down. But the other thing about this is the MSRP on this camera is $219 USD. Freedom dollars. I'm just kidding. United States dollar. and these are going to be released in May, around May 10th in the United States. And Amazon, B&H, and there's one other company is going to have these cameras in stock on release day. So if you've got any questions about these cameras, let me know down in the comments real quick. So let's see what we've got going on here. All right, so I think it said good morning. So CH, Gibby, JH, Jeremy, Gina, Dave, Harry, James, Jason, good morning to everyone. Let's go through the comments real quick. JH says, nice. I need to price out a Synology camera system for my secondary camera system. Yeah, so you could theoretically use a one disc Synology. Let me see what those models are here real quick. I don't know if they have any plus models in the single disc, single bay NAS. And of course, when I do a search for single bay NAS, I get everything but what I'm looking for. So here is the Synology DS118, and I'm going to bring this up here. All right, so here is the Synology DS118. It's got a quad-core 64-bit processor. I didn't have one of these. I had, I think it was the 118J, J118, J20, something like that. We gave it out during COVID. We gave a couple of them away. Synology kind of sponsored that. So it comes with 1 gig of DDR4. Let's see what our max is. It doesn't tell us what the max is. I would guess you could probably put 4 gigs in this. Let's see. Oh, it has a 2-year warranty. That's nice. Extendable to 4 years. Sometimes it tells us, it would tell us how many cameras we can have. But I'll put an affiliate link for this down in the comments if you're looking for a single disc to use as a NAS. You could probably get away with this. You could probably put on this 10 cameras easy, but don't quote me on that. Now, the really nice thing about the Synology is on their site, they do have a NAS selector, or an NVR selector. So number of cameras, let's just say we're going to do 5. We're going to do 30 days, 24 hours, no HDMI output. Let's do H265, 15 frames a second. Let's recommend. All right, so here's the DS120J. It says it can do 5 cameras, and you can stick a single, looks like you can stick a single 16 terabyte drive in that. And you would need 3 additional licenses because it comes with 2. But if you use the Synology licenses or the Synology cameras, they come with the licenses. But check this out. Here's that DS118 we were looking at that I posted in the comments. It can do 15 cameras. You can put a 16 terabyte drive in it. And so this DS118, much to my surprise, and the thing is too, I don't know if you've ever used Surveillance Station, but based on what Synology says the device will handle, they limit the NAS from accepting more devices than that. So, but yeah, JH, and here's the thing too, I'm going to tell you, unless you get into the huge rack mount systems, like if you're just looking at a DS, even just a single 1U rack station, don't waste your time going through a regular reseller. Go to Amazon, because Amazon can sell the NAS units cheaper than resellers can buy them, and that is no joke. The surveillance station licenses, the Mail Plus licenses, best place to get those, Amazon. So, morning, Jason. Gibby says, wow, I've never seen a firewall in a camera. Axis does have firewalling in their cameras. JH says, I need to check with law enforcement to see if they will take footage from Synology as evidence. I know they won't take them from some of the cheaper ones. Yeah, so that is one thing. And let me show you back on the Synology site. Here's one really cool thing that Synology provides. So let's just do a NAS surveillance. And, oh, they've already got the cameras, so we can probably grab a newer firmware. But let's just, for grins, do the NVR 216. Now, if I go to desktop utilities, here, Synology, JH, check this out. Synology has the Evidence Integrity Authenticator. And what this does, it says Synology Evidence Integrity Authenticator is a Mac Windows application that validates and confirms that the recordings and screenshots made by Synology surveillance stations have not been tampered with since its original recording. Other than approve the recording's embedded digital signature, this tool also displays the exact recording time and disk station serial number. So I will tell you that sometimes what we see, some of the biggest issues that I see with NVRs, and I deal with this all the time, is I see timestamps from the cameras, from the on-screen display, are wrong, but Synology is correct. So if there's ever any question, you could use that tool to validate that the Synology knows what time it was really recorded. So, but check that tool out, JH. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. Yes, you have an awesome day as well. Good morning, Paulo. Zach. Sean says, I agree with buying from Amazon unless you buy in bulk. Then working with your Synology account and technical manager can get you a discount if you're a VAR like SHI, CDW, etc. So, even when we were buying in large quantities, I had a customer buy like 50 NAS. They were the dedicated NVR, and our price break was not that good. It almost wasn't worth me being in the deal if you look at the time, but it was for the customer, and we did make money off the licensing. And so we did proceed with the deal, but Ingram is one of the actual distributors that we dealt with, and then there was another one on the East Coast. But there was kind of and JH says it all depends on what you mean by a large deal. For JH, 50 units is not a large deal. JH is probably looking 200, 300, 400, 500 units. But there was we upset some other Synology resellers and retailers, and because Synology had temporarily allowed me to sell surveillance station licenses to people all around the world. And what we would do is we would receive the license, we would mark it for the customer, we would open it, we would take a picture, and it got securely sent to the customer if they were not in the United States. Well, we were doing this, and then Synology told us we had to pump the brakes. So we were selling a lot of licenses, and we really upset the whole ecosystem for the resellers. And I'll just tell you right now, Amazon is the quickest, cheapest place. And I do have affiliate links. If you're buying that stuff, you can check that out. It's a nice way to support the channel. You don't have to, but yeah. Hello from Denmark, Karsten. JH says I did a total cost of ownership on my last build out, and it was right at 500 million. Yeah, so JH, if you haven't been around the streams, JH builds data centers and things like that. They're clouds in their own right, but they're non-public clouds. That's how I would summarize it. But if you got any more questions about the cameras, let me know down in the comments. Besides that, what else is going on? We've been doing a lot of videos. I've been, laying out the basics of networking and switching and things that you really need to know. So yeah, and JH says that's right, not public clouds. So what I want you to do, if you are not on the mailing list, go down in the comments or down in the description, go over, sign up for the newsletter. I don't send them out a lot, but I do send out, like if I see like an important security update, like there was an important security update for edge routers, I sent out an email about that. And like 15 people unsubscribed. I'm like, I don't know why you'd unsubscribe, because I'm sending you, information to update your, anyway. But the other thing is, if you're interested in Synology training and Grandstream training, as well as Ubiquiti training, but we're not a certification partner for Ubiquiti, and Synology doesn't yet have that official channel, but we're starting to line up dates right now. I am now able to teach the Grandstream certified professional on their networking gear, and also obviously on the UC side, the UCM side, Unified Communications. And so we are going to start lining up dates for that. And we're also going to throw in 1 day of network training, right? So it's going to be 1 day of network training from beginning to where I would feel comfortable with you going out and setting up a small network. And then we're going to do 2 days of Synology networking. At the end of the second day, you'll take the certification exam for that. And then 2 more days, we will do UC. And then at the end of the second day, you will take the certification on that. Times and dates may get rearranged, but if you're interested in training, make sure you reach out, especially when we send out the feelers to see how many people are going to sign up, because that determines the venue, that determines the location, that determines all kinds of things. So keep your eye out for that. Jade says, did you see that Gordon Moore died? I did not see that. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that was just yesterday. So, yeah, founder of Intel, one of the original founders. And if you know what Moore's Law is about technology speeding up and doubling and all that jazz. So, interesting. Born in 1929. Hopefully he led a good long life. He was 94 years old. Very interesting. All right, what else is going on in the world of IT? Y'all are out here being pretty quiet this morning. I don't see Tony or Joe or Unky or anyone else out here this morning. I do see Jason. Jason, thanks for being here. Jason and I have been having a lot of conversations about Ingenious. And Jason, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this, but Ingenious got me really excited about some features that were supposed to be coming for this gateway that they sent me, right? And they got Jason excited as well. One of the features that they're supposed to have on this gateway, which, by the way, this is a solidly built gateway. One of the features that they're supposed to have on this gateway is that you take one of their access points and it uses their cloud service, and it creates a VPN tunnel between the access point and the gateway, right? The firewall. And then what it does is it extends the Wi-Fi, the corporate Wi-Fi from HQ and a VLAN over that. Well, now we're being told that we were never told that that feature was coming out. We're now being told that we don't know if that feature is going to be there. I will tell you, and they actually tried to deny, saying that that feature was, we were actually told that that feature wasn't going to be available, and that they never said it was going to be publicly available. And so we actually have screen captures. We have all kinds of stuff that says that that feature is supposed to be there, and now Ingenious is backing out of it. Good morning. TVJ says, hello, everyone. YouTube doesn't show that you are live. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Let me check it out here real quick. Let's see. Well, that's not good. Let me check it out here. I'm seeing the live stream, but people must have not got the notifications. Well, that's no good. That's no good at all. I wonder what's going on, you know? I mean, there's all kinds of things happening with all kinds of social media and stuff right now. And YouTube, to be honest with you, they're probably pretty busy. If you didn't hear Linus Tech Tips, their channels got hacked, got deleted. And so, I mean, that's a pretty big creator to have that happen to. And so there's probably lots of things happening underneath the scenes, and Willie Howe is probably not anywhere in the top 90% of things that YouTube is worried about at the moment. So, yeah. Oh, interesting. It's still showing as notify me. Well, so here's the thing that I'm doing, right? So this live stream is using my key, my stream key, and going through the software. So I'm wondering if they're trying to force us. Yeah, and TVJ says on his app, it says upcoming and that there are 22 people waiting. No, I scheduled it for the correct time and it shows that we're live. That's super strange. So it'll be interesting to see how many people see this published after the stream. But there are currently 34 viewers and 15 likes. So it's weird. And I'm also noticing that in the control panel that my concurrent viewers, usually it's a smooth up or down, and it's not so smooth. It's like it'll stay on one number and then it'll drop, and then it'll stay on that number and it'll go back up. And usually I can see like, like 1 through whatever adding up. I don't know. I'm sure that they're dealing with a lot of things. Jake says, how many factors on MFA is too many? I got pushed back when I went for 4 factors. Well, here's the thing, right? This could happen to anybody. And especially when you have a large team, these kinds of things can happen accidentally. But I think the specific thing that YouTube is dealing with is the session hijacking through the cookies. And they are now taking a lot of heat from a lot of creators about this. So it'll be interesting to see. And I've not been vocal about it. I've just been kind of watching everybody else because everybody else is really digging in, doing the analysis. So I've just kind of been hanging back, watching, seeing what's going on. Weibo says, the odd thing is I clicked on it and it opened the stream for me. The icon still shows as if it hasn't started on the subscribers page. That's interesting. That's probably why there's only 40 folks here. And JH says, don't open email attachments, people. Yeah, I don't open any attachments if I don't know the person and I'm not expecting it. That is for sure. So let me see here real quick. Synology. I don't know. What makes a good NAS? So here is, now it depends too which kind of hard drives you want to use. If you don't mind using just the regular Seagate Iron Wolves, you can get a fully loaded. Let me see here. You can get a fully loaded DS923 with 4 gigs of RAM and 4 6-terabyte drives for $1636.73. But I don't know if we can build that any cheaper. Here, I'll put the affiliate link for that in the chat. Maybe if I can find the window. But I don't know. I don't know if you can build it cheaper than that. So I will tell you that I like, and I better put this in the chat too, so that I don't get in trouble. All Amazon links posted are affiliate links. Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble for that. But let me see. I like the Skyhawk drives. And when all the shenanigans came out with Western Digital and all the drives that were using SHR and all the early hour failures that happened, and we actually experienced a lot of those early hour failures. I was not impressed. Now, to Western Digital's credit, they did RMA those drives, but check this out. So now you can get the Skyhawk, and these are, meant for surveillance, 4 gig or 4 terabyte drives for $79.99. List price is $104.99, 24% off. So I posted that link in the chat. That's, in my opinion, that's a pretty decent price. And you can see now, look at this. They have, of course, the 6 terabyte, the 8 terabyte. But then when you hit 10 terabyte, you get into the, they're labeled AI. So they must be optimized for surveillance AI workloads. And look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't show the price, but they have a 20 terabyte drive. And did somebody say, somebody have like a 26 terabyte drive? Let's see how much the 18 terabyte is. $384.83. There's a point at which these drives become so large and the files that we store are so large that recovery it can take forever and is almost impossible. And what is that point? I don't know. But all right, back to the comments. TVJ says that I had a lot of cybersecurity conversations this week at work as a local government got ransomware, and that is happening a lot as well. And a lot of us joke about that, but it's not funny when it happens. So Jason says, I love how Microsoft is forcing MFA on people, getting piles of clients calling in, even though we warn them. There is no option now. It's forced. Right. And so MFA, in my opinion, everything should be MFA. Everything should be MFA. Whether you want to use physical security tokens, I'm a fan of TOTP, but MFA should be mandatory for a lot of things. There's no reason that you're not using MFA. Yeah, YubiKeys are a great product. And you can integrate them. You can integrate YubiKeys with Synology. So Synology has their C2 identity. You can integrate YubiKeys with that. You can integrate YubiKeys with Protectimus. You can integrate YubiKeys with somebody help me out. What's the company that Cisco bought? You can still get 10 licenses for free. But even if you don't want to do that, you can integrate YubiKeys with Active Directory. There's a whole framework for it without using any of the third-party apps, right? So they're really great. The thing is, if you're going to get into the hardware keys, don't just have one hardware key. Have a backup of your hardware key, because if you carry it in your pocket or it's on your keychain or you have it in a bag, or, make sure you have a backup YubiKey. That's my advice on that. Maybe I'll do a video. I've got some YubiKeys that I bought that I am deploying here locally. Maybe I'll do a video on that if people are interested. But TVJ says, my company started forcing MFA one layer at a time. By the end of the year, everyone will be required to use it and SMS will be disabled. Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Insurance companies are going to start enforcing it, or you're not going to be able to get cyber liability enforcement or insurance. Weibo says, MFA is not always a great idea either. For example, RF devices for warehouse use are typically not great for that use case, but those networks should be locked down hard for that purpose. Yeah, you should. Industrial automation networks and things like that, they're still the wild, wild west, right? There is a standard, the JH, help me out, the BACnet, building automation control, BACnet. There is a standard. I have some industrial switches over here that I bought a few years back because a customer of mine, smaller customer, but he competes against some of these large building automation control network design companies, and these companies come in and they, in my opinion, they fleece these customers for hundreds of thousands of dollars for network design. And it's I couldn't sleep at night if I'm supposed they sleep on stacks of $100 bills, but I couldn't sleep at night, if I charged that much money for it. But they have huge teams and all this, but I ran into a couple specific instances when we were quoting with him, and I was just like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is not cool. And so we did get a couple bank jobs that I helped him with. But I will do a video. You have to have, these switches that I have, they don't have regular AC power. They are DC powered, so you have to have a special power supply. They are DIN rail mountable. They are meant for applications where it is dusty, dark, hot, cold, all these things. They are not cheap. They are fantastic pieces of kit. So I'll break one out and do a video on it that I've had sitting on the shelf. And I bought it all myself. I haven't reached out to this particular manufacturer yet, but let's see. Aztec says, put that NAS combo together with buying separately and be able to do it for about $1,000. See, there you go. We needed somebody to do that. But back to that, yeah, your building automation control should likely be air gapped. I work with one of the largest automotive robotic assembly companies in the world, and they're believe it or not, they have factories that the automation control is all edge gear, edge routers, edge switches, and it is air gapped. So I actually load my rack up here with all of the equipment for the network, and I configure everything, and then I securely deliver the configurations. So it's pretty neat. Sean says, I would also say to use the number matching and multi-factor for Microsoft 365. I don't know what my context is there. Weibo says, SMS as MFA is a joke, but it's better than a sharp pointy stick, right? And it's really not that secure, but it's at least something running interference, right? JH is dropping some names if you're interested in MFA stuff. He dropped Modbus in there. JH says a lot of networks out there don't need internet access and have internet access. If it's all local, don't give it a gateway. Yeah, and then have a maintenance cycle where you come into the network, you upgrade the firmware manually on the devices and things like that. I agree 100% with JH. JH says my air gap networks aren't even VLAN out. They are completely different switches, and that's a good common practice. Local things may still need gateways for routing, but should be blocked at the firewall level. So there should be lots of filtering and firewall rules for that stuff. So, all right, well, it started snowing here today, which none of us were really wanting or expecting, but I'm going to get back to it. I hope you're having a great day. Hopefully YouTube gets some of these things figured out so that next live stream, everybody gets notified that we're live. That would be great. If you need to reach out, go to williehowe.com, click hire us or contact us, and we respond to all of those. If they're not, we do get some spam. There's some people who take time to manually write spam. And, that is what it is. But I want to thank you for being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.